Alright, so today I'm playing around with the snowblower again. The other day we had a few inches of snow, maybe about 3, and I tried to use it to snowblow the driveway, which I knew was going to probably end up being a problem. I don't really have the type of driveway you should use a snowblower on. It's crushed stone mixed with like 3-inch stones to help control erosion. And I really ought to plow this instead of snow blowing it, because when there isn't enough snow or there isn't an ice pack under it, the snowblower will tend to suck up one of those 3-inch stones that comes loose and inevitably shear a shear pin. The only reason I even have the thing is because where I used to live I had a paved driveway, and just don't have the wherewithal to get a plow or pay somebody to come and plow it. So every so often I have to replace a shear pin. And the other point of the video here is this is my old camera that I had used previously, which I thought was broken and I had left for dead, but I was able to fix it. So I'm going to go ahead and doing this quick video more as a camera test than anything else. So what I have to do today is replace, first of all, a cotter pin here, which happened to snap on me. This is the actuation lever that actuates the impeller. Connects the cable here to the hand control, and all at the same time the cotter pin on this lever sheared, as well as both of the shear pins that I had in here disappeared and broke. Must have hit a good sized rock. I don't see the rock anywhere, but what happens more often than not is the rock gets jammed up between the back of the auger and the bezel there, and just brings everything to a halt. So must have got just the right rock, or maybe a couple at once, and that was the end of the story. So we'll go ahead first of all and try and replace that cotter pin. And I don't have probably the proper cotter pin. I've got one of these types of cotter pins, so I'll just go ahead and throw that in there. And there's just a hole that needs to line up, and stuff that in, and I'll go ahead and get some pliers and bend that around. Maybe I even ought to put a washer on that head. And then for shear pins, I don't have any more proper shear pins because I kind of break them so often. But what I do have are some cheap Chinese bolts that I took out of an old piece of lawn furniture before I threw it away. And these things work great as shear pins because they're real low quality, low stress bolts. So I go ahead and throw those in place. They got the right diameter, and they can substitute as shear pins and save me a little bit of money. Although I am getting low on these things too. I'll probably have to go find some more furniture to take apart here soon. So I'll go ahead and throw those in and see what happens. Okay, so now I got the cotter pin put in place here. And if I can get that to focus, you can see I put that cotter pin in. So now pulling this lever actuates that, which is what we want. And I put a washer in there because the hole was just a little small for the head of that pin, and then bent the sides up. Now this cotter pin here I'm looking at, that almost looks like a spare. I don't know if that's really doing anything or not, but I didn't want to pull it out of there and have the shaft slide in or out. So anyway, we'll see how that does. And then gone ahead and put my cheap Chinese bolts in place. Pull this out so it's in the light a little bit more. It's still a little dark. There we go. So I'll go ahead and see. Now at first glance, when I first showed the bolts, I'm not sure if it was visible that the acorn nuts were not enclosed at the end, but these particular bolts, for whatever reason, have an acorn nut, but there was a hole at the end of it, so the bolt was able to protrude all the way through the nut, and I was able to tighten that up against the shaft. And again, these are cheap Chinese real low-grade bolts. You wouldn't want to go to the hardware store or go in your parts bin and find some stainless steel or grade 8 bolts or anything like that. You want to use something real cheap. In fact, these things are probably even weaker than an official shear pin, which could be part of my problem, why I shear them so often. But they're free and they're here. I don't have to go to the hardware store. So there you have it. I'm gonna fire this thing up now and make sure everything's in working order so that the next time it snows I'm not caught off guard, and I can at least get something done in the driveway before having to replace those again. Alright, we'll go ahead and crank this baby up. So first we'll put it on choke and then flip this switch back to the other side, prime it up. Okay, and that ought to do it. If this thing is in good shape, it should kick right over if I don't fall on the ice here. Good on the auger. Alright, give that another try. Alright, so I got something wrong on the auger. I either got that positioned wrong or something else is going on here. Maybe something's out of adjustment. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on with the auger, why it wouldn't engage. Not sure what would have changed, but then again, I'm not sure why the cotter pin on this thing would have broke either. But at any rate, here's the cable assembly that connects the hand actuator lever to the shaft that ultimately engages the auger. All right, so this is the end that goes into the lever, and then I've pulled this spring back, which just usually covers this and is connected to this, and there is a lock nut. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and backed that up a little bit to shorten the cable, and hopefully it will pull a little harder on that actuator, and maybe that'll solve the problem for now. And then in the springtime, I guess maybe it might be time to take the thing apart and see if something changed internally. Okay, as you can see, everything is working now, so not sure if something internally changed or what, but we'll go ahead and see what happens. Seems to be working now. So hopefully she's good for the next storm. Okay, so in case the audio was a little muffled there on the last segment, what happened was just by changing the adjustment down here, I was able to kind of shorten the throw of the cable, which in turn was able to pull this lever higher and rotate this shaft further, which then engaged the auger. So I'm not sure if that just loosened up over time, and then when the original cotter pin snapped, it just meant that something was going on, or something internally changed. Maybe when things temporarily jammed, maybe something slipped inside, and this went out of adjustment a little bit, and just taking up the slack here was all that was needed. So you can see, if you compare this to the original segments of the video, this part of the adjuster isn't sticking out of this boot that's over the spring as much as it was before. But so everything seems to be working now, and maybe in the springtime I can take the thing apart and see what's going on inside, if it needs to be. So I guess we'll wait for the next snowfall and hope everything is on the up and up.